Imagine this. You have only a short time left to live. How would you spend it? What would you say to the people you love? What lessons would you want to leave behind? Maury Shorts didn't just imagine it, he lived it. And through his final lessons, he taught us all something profound, how to truly live. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our TED Talk. We are honored to be here today as Group 4, sharing the closing chapters of Mitch Albom's Tuesdays with Maury. The 13th Tuesday, the 14th Tuesday, and the final reflections on what it really means to live a meaningful life. Over the past 12 Tuesdays, Maury has shared wisdom on love, regrets, death, and forgiveness. But in these final moments, he gave us perhaps his most important lesson yet, the power of a perfect day, the courage to say goodbye, and the legacy we leave behind. Our talk today is not just about a book, it's about a challenge to rethink our priorities, to ask ourselves, are we truly present? Are we leading lives filled with love, connection, and purpose? Are we, as Maury would say, making the connection between what matters and what doesn't? In this session, we will take you on a journey through Maury's last lessons, exploring themes of gratitude, purpose, and the simple yet profound impact of kindness. We'll share the powerful passages and analyses, and one bold idea that we believe is worth spreading.
The 13th Tuesday, we talk about the perfect day. In this chapter, Maury has become much weaker due to his ALS. In the beginning of the chapter, Mitch and Maury discuss the fear and stigma surrounding death. Maury says that people treat death as if it's contagious. He concludes their discussion about the fear of death by saying that if everyone is just looking to find peace with it, and once they find peace with death, they can do the really hard thing, which is finding peace with living. Mitch then asks Maury what his perfect last day would be. Maury begins to describe a very simple day, with a lovely breakfast and having his friends and family over to talk about their issues. Mitch is shocked that Maury's perfect day is something so simple and average. He even says that he's a little disappointed. But then he realized that the simplicity was the whole point. The chapter concludes with a discussion about Mitch's brother. Maury tells Mitch that he needs to find peace with his brother's decision, but Maury cannot get over the question of why his brother does not want to see him. Maury then assures him that he will find his way back to his brother because Maury and Mitch found their way back to each other. Now we want to ask someone in the audience what their perfect day would be.
The 14th Tuesday, we say goodbye. In chapter 14, Mitch visits Maury for the final time. Maury is in the late stages of ALS, and his body is becoming progressively worse in a very rapid pace. This visit was deeply emotional as both Maury and Mitch know that this will be their last meeting together. Main things that they talk about together for the last time are forgiveness, death, and the importance of love. Maury shares his final wisdom, encouraging Mitch to live a life of meaning, to embrace death as a part of life, and to value human connections over the materialistic things. Now, how does this relate to simplicity, pain, and compassion? Even in the fact of suffering, Maury still appreciates the little things, showing the compassion of her character self. Throughout his illness, Maury never loses sight of the importance of love, kindness, and human connection. By deciding to put his focus on the meaningful aspects of life instead of becoming overwhelmed by his pain. This shows that even in times of hardship, one can live with purpose and care for others. Now, how does this encourage us? This should encourage us with his approach to living simply and loving deeply, even when it gets incredibly difficult. It shows us that we can focus on the things that truly matter in life: connection, love, and kindness. With Maury's compassion that never fades, it should inspire us.
13th Tuesday, we talk about the perfect day. It was so simple, so average, I was actually a little disappointed. I figured he'd fly to Italy or have lunch with the president or romp on the seashore or try every exotic thing he could think of. All of these moments, lying there, unable to move a leg or a foot, how could he find perfection in such an average day? Then I realized this was the whole point. A little bit of context for this passage was that Mitch had just come to the realization that he hasn't seen Maury stand in 16 years. This prompted him to ask Maury what his perfect 24 hours would look like if he was in the same good health he was 16 years ago. Maury answers by describing a perfectly simple and average day filled with things he loves. And Mitch is utterly shocked, which is what we see in this response here. And then this is the idea that true fulfillment doesn't come from extravagant and rare experiences, but from appreciating everyday moments. Mitch expects Maury to want to go on crazy adventures after not being able to for so long, but instead he wants to go back to the perfect, simple, ordinary life that he once was able to live. And this alludes to the larger theme of it is how we choose to live our lives that matters. And with this explanation of what he would do with his 24 hours, Maury taught Mitch another life lesson, and that it's the little pleasures that sum up the perfection of living.
Waking up, finding food in the house, and then getting ready for school, and then coming and seeing all my friends and passing all my tests, and then leaving to food at home.
A perfect day? Every day is a perfect day for me. When I wake up in the morning to see another day, is a perfect day for me.
A perfect day for me right now. No constructions, to get to work and get home. To me, that's an ideal day.
I like this one. That's a good one.
Wake up, take a shower, put back on my pajamas, not go to school, play 2K all day, be on Snapchat. That's pretty much it. And then go to bed and play basketball.
Notice what all these people said about their perfect days. They all involve the beautiful, simple things in life, and that's exactly what Maury was trying to teach Mitch in this moment.
We chose this passage because it really speaks onto our bigger question on how do we really choose to live our lives or how we remember our lives. And today we're all obsessed with grand adventures and achievements that we use to define our lives and pinpoint. And Maury challenges that belief. He shows us that life's true meaning is not found in the rare and extraordinary moments, but rather it's found in the ordinary day adventures. And I'm sure most of you guys would agree with me, but if we think back onto each year that we've lived, we think back and pinpoint big trips, big events, and out of the blue experiences that have really made an impact. But now, through Maury's eyes, if you think deeper, the relationships we built along the way and the simple talks and things that we've shared with one another, those moments often account for the majority of our lives. And those moments more believed to fulfill our lives. And personally, I realized that the relationships that I've nurtured through my 18 years of being on this planet have really made me who I am today. And in that, I find acceptance because of Maury. And through this passage, Maury accepts the truth, and acceptance and peace is through the simplicity in this average days. And in the end, it's those moments that make life truly meaningful.
So in chapter 13, Mitch and Maury discuss and contemplate the perfect day. As people, we are continuously captivated by the next big thing, subject to the whims of rapidly developing technology, material possessions, and an ever-changing culture. So when Maury reveals his perfect day as being something so contrastingly mundane to what we most often expect to make up the perfect day, Mitch is initially skeptical. Oftentimes, we are led to believe that fulfillment and purpose in life is derived from external markers of success, like meeting the president or taking a flight to Italy. What Maury recognizes this as, however, is a fruitless pursuit of validation. And when we inevitably fall short of these lofty expectations that we set for ourselves, we find ourselves dissatisfied and unhappy. So the epiphany that Mitch has after hearing about Maury's perfect day is the value in the ordinary. So the moments of quiet reflection, appreciating the rhythm of routine, finding peace in simplicity, and being content with one's current self. These are the qualities that make up true perfection. And the moment Mitch realizes this, his perception and worldview becomes much more grounded and much more vast. This chapter's theme revolves around an existential realization, particularly the idea that life's meaning is not rooted in the chase for external validation, but in how we experience life day to day. So, in summary, true fulfillment does not come from seeking more, but from appreciating what already is.
Even though Maury passed away before any of us were even born, except for Miss Bond, his lessons still firmly stand. While we're alive, we must cherish every moment we have with our loved ones. Indulge in our surroundings, admire the beauty of nature, and the love and comfort we feel from others. We have to commit to what we love to do. See the nuances of perfection in our daily lives, and at the same time, we must not shy away from anything, especially those inevitable unpleasant feelings. As much as we avoid grieving, crying, or breaking out in anger and frustration, we must bask in it and realize that these emotions are temporary. Maury Maury's idea of detachment is what should be sought. Through it, our lives become more enjoyable, more fulfilling. And when it's us or one of our loved ones on their deathbed, this is where detachment is most important. Like Maury said, we have to allow ourselves to cry and grieve. We acknowledge it, and after doing so, we allow ourselves to move on with life, or accept whatever lies beyond death. We do not fear death. We comfortably embrace it when the time comes, knowing well that we lived life to the absolute fullest. This is likely what Maury was trying to tell us. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and have a nice day.